Nexo Knights. Known for being very colorful and creative, set number 70355, Aaron's Rock Climber, is no exception. Now the set's going to run you $59.99 USD, which is pretty expensive, but that's going to get you 598 pieces as well as 5 minifigures. Kind of. Now, is the set actually worth that $60 price tag, or is it just another forgettable Nexo Knights set? Well, let's take it out of the box and find out. So in this set, there are two major components, and the first one I'm going to be talking about here is this sort of gargoyle creature. He's actually my favorite part of the set. The shaping here on the front is really cool and well done, and there's a lot of articulation on the guy, that about as much as you'd expect. His legs can move around, his feet can also move separately. There's no knees or anything in those front legs. The same with the back legs, they can move on a ball joint, and the feet can also move individually, so you can get some decent poses with them, and you can definitely do some playing around where he's sort of barreling down. And because he's so front heavy here, you can definitely see him doing that. There's a lot of cool things about him. The mouth can also move downwards. Now he can open his jaw up a lot, but he can't really close it, so he's gonna always have this sort of mouth agape expression, which is fine. It's fitting for the creature that they're kind of going for here. The tail can also move on the back here. There are 3 different ball joints for the tail alone, as well as the 4th ball joint here on the butt area that connects to. The wings on the back can also move, and there is plenty of studs here right on this creature's back where you can fit one of the minifigures on and ride them around. So overall, I really like the way this creature's designed. Not a big fan of the stickers that go on top of them. It does add some nice coloring, some texture to the design, but stickers. Now the main focus of the set is the rock climber itself, which is pretty cool. Nexo Knights has always been kind of known for having some very creative and bright, vivid color schemes, and this one's no exception. At first, I wasn't a big fan of it, but it quickly grew on me, especially after I took it out of the box and actually built it. Pictures alone don't do this set justice, and I find that that is sort of a thing that is a common trend with Nexo Knights sets. You really have to build the set itself to truly appreciate the beauty that went into the design here. There's a lot of harsh angles on this set that really give it a very futuristic, awesome, cool techno style build here, and it's just a really pretty vehicle. Now the wheels on the front as well as on the back have some nice shock absorption, so you can place the set down on the table and it does like a nice little bounce back up and down, so that's very cool and creative. The front of the vehicle can also pop out and become its own side vehicle, can kind of fly around. The minifigure can sit on this vehicle itself. There's also plenty of room in the front of the vehicle itself once you remove this for another minifigure to sit there. So you can fit 2 different minifigures on this vehicle, and one can eject from the front there. So that's very nice. That obviously closes back down. On the back here, we've got a cool gun. Now you can grab the back of this gun and pull it backwards, and it'll come off of the vehicle itself. And what it can do is then transform into a crossbow gun thing. I don't know, kids, Google it. It's actually really cool. I like the feature here where it can sort of fold out. This actually works with one of the other Nexo Knights sets and can combine with it. So you can put like a little turret on top of this this gun position here and have one of the minifigures actually lined up in the back here to man it. But obviously this is meant to go along with the rock climber as well, so you can fit that right back in there. It pegs in really easily, and it's actually pretty secure for that single connection there. And it can also fold out on the vehicle itself as well. Now there is a place for the minifigure to stand on the back of the vehicle with these studs, but it's quite a height difference between the stud placement and the gun itself, so it's really not meant for a minifigure as much as it is for those Nexo Knights buildable action figures that you can buy separately. Other than that, the vehicle itself is really cool looking, obviously, but the build of the vehicle itself I found was actually pretty frustrating. There's a lot more Technic beams in here than I was expecting, and there's some pretty convoluted building techniques, especially here where the shock absorption is for the wheels. There's a lot of beams and things you have to kind of place, and it gets a little frustrating to get them all in there, and sometimes I found myself accidentally breaking things off and just making the situation so much worse while trying to place these wheels. So I didn't really enjoy building the vehicle that much. The gargoyle was definitely my favorite part as far as the building experience, but I can't deny that the end result for this vehicle is really awesome. So let's talk about those minifigures. The first one we're going to talk about is Lord Krakenskull. This guy is awesome. Honestly, he is such a highlight of the set. I recommend buying the set just for this minifigure, or going on Bricklink or something and finding him, but I love this minifigure. Just the detailing on his design, all the decals are great, well done, but honestly, it's his helmet that is the biggest highlight for me. I love the helmet. It's designed so well. It fits perfectly over the minifigure face, and there's printing on the helmet. Ah, I didn't even know LEGO could do that. It's so good. I don't know if anyone's been following our Bionicle G3 project, but if you haven't, you should check it out. We've essentially been reimagining Bionicle as a system theme, and Lord Krakenskull here really fits how we would imagine the minifigures in our theme to work. Just the mask, the detailing, everything about this figure just works, and it's amazing, and it just screams Bionicle, and I love it so much. The only real negative thing about Krakenskull that I can think of is that he doesn't really have two different faces, which is kind of a disappointment since he's got that helmet covering the back there, but it really isn't that big of a deal. The main star of the show, Aaron, is a really well done figure, but I'm not a huge fan of the color scheme. The bright oranges and yellows just don't really work with the green in my eyes, but that's more of a preference thing. The detailing on the figure itself is really well done, and I really appreciate the metallic printing that they did for some of the parts and armor bits on his torso here. The armor that actually goes on top of him is awesome as well. I think the highlight for Nexo Knights is just all the new elements that they've introduced here. He does come with two different faces. Both are very nice and expressive and work really well, and are different enough to actually be appealing, and makes me want to use both of them. He also comes with two different weapons, his trademark shield, as well as a new gun. This piece is interesting. It's sort of like the stud shooters that we've had before, but it uses a different ammo piece, and it's better in my eyes. I don't know. I do like the fact that you can reuse studs as ammo. That is pretty clever, but I just really like this ammo piece. With that said, the gun is a little clunky and a little too big for the minifigure, and I find that when Aaron's holding both the gun and the shield, the minifigure just starts to get a bit too cluttered, especially with the armor. There's just a little too much going on. You can't really see the figure or enjoy all that printing that they put in on there, so that's a bit unfortunate. But obviously, the extra attachments are additional and completely optional. The Aaron bot is great, typical bot that Nexo Knights comes with. I don't think there's anything new about this figure at all, but Aaron bot also does come with two different faces. One that's a very neutral face, and then one a very expressive smile. So you get options there. Brickster comes with the set. Really weird guy. I don't really think you can categorize this as a minifigure, but I figured I'd put him here anyway. The only remarkable thing about him is that he's got some nice panel printing on the front to represent his face, and the printing is well done, but other than that, he's kind of just a big brick, which is obviously what they were going for, but I don't know, he's not all that interesting. He's got a cool sword though. Speaking of not all that interesting, we also get the throwaway character for this set, which is this stone gargoyle minion guy. I couldn't find a name for him, and to be honest, he's kind of bland and boring, and I don't really think he needs a name. When it comes to Nexo Knights, the word that I would use to describe the theme as a whole is weird. It's interesting that I always seem to underestimate the theme, and I'm never really interested in buying one of the sets, but when I do, there always seems to be something that surprises me in a very positive way. Just from the minifigure designs, to the colors, to the set itself, there's just something about the set that just isn't quite right on the box art. And it's just so hard to really appreciate the set until you've built it and have it in your hands. And I find that that is the exact same scenario with this set. When I first picked up the box and I looked at it, I didn't think I was going to be getting anything special, but once I built it, I found myself really liking it. And that just seems to be such a common trend with Nexo Knights, and I don't know why. But when it comes to recommending the set, I definitely do. I think for $50, there's a lot here. You get a really cool figure, you get a really cool vehicle, and a lot of very unique and well done minifigures to go along with it. This is just a great play set. There's a lot of stuff to play around with. If you're an adult collector, if you're a kid, I think there's plenty of stuff to enjoy here, and I definitely recommend it. I think for $50, this is definitely better than the Jakku Quad Jumper in my opinion. So there's your comparison. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, be sure to click the like button and subscribe. And while you're at it, check out our Patreon at patreon.com/the TTV channel, where you can donate to us directly and help support our channel and help us make videos just like this one. But once again, thank you so much. I'm Var, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!